Our next model is financial literacy and the law of money. So, you can never be wealthy or get rich if you don't understand money. If you don't follow the laws, the principles that follows money, how to use money, how to manage money. So that is why learning about money is paramount to the success of any business. If you don't understand how money operates, you could be earning 2 million in a month, but at the end of the day, you die as a poor man, as a pauper. Why? Because you do not understand the law of money, how to save, how to invest, and so on. So that is why this model is going to help us to understand how we can use money as far as every business we have been talking about is concerned. Every business in the world is about making money, about using money. So you must know about money before you can succeed in business. So we look at financial literacy and the law of money. So what is financial literacy? It refers to the understanding and the effective use of various financial skills like personal financial management, budgeting, investing, and understanding financial products and services. So we are going to look at each of these terms so that once you understand each of these terms, then you have financial knowledge. Literacy means knowledge, knowing about finance. That's why you talk of financial literacy, knowing about money. So by the time we go through this model, you will understand how money operates, how you can manage money. The first thing we are going to look at is budgeting. Budgeting is a process of creating a plan to manage your income and expenses. So you develop a plan how you are going to manage income and expenses. Step 1, you need to track your income. You need to track your income. You need to know every sources of your income and how much each of the source is bringing in. So list all sources of income, including salary, bonuses, side businesses, and so on. List all of them and know how much each of them is bringing in. Then list all your expenses. Categorize your expenses into fixed, like rent, utilities, and variable expenses like entertainment, giving out gift, and so on. Why are you categorizing into fixed? So that with fixed, you know exactly that every month you have rent, every month you have utilities, water bills, and so on. Every year you know that you have fees and so on. Then you have variables like maybe entertainment. It's not every day that you go out to entertain yourself. You go to watch match, you go to pay for something, you go for a drink, and so on. So that one is variable expenses. So you need to categorize like this to know how much you are going to spend out of your income. Then now you set your spending limit. You need to allocate a specific amount of each category based on your income and financial goals. When you talk of financial goals, you look at what you intend to achieve in terms of your finance. If you intend to get rich, to build wealth, so you should know that you can't spend everything once you receive money. You should have reserved something and start seeing how you can multiply that one. But if you have no financial goal of accumulating wealth, then you can spend anything. Every time you receive, you spend it, and so you just remain there. And at the end of the day, when every source of your income stops, poverty take over. Then review and adjust. Regularly review your budget to account for changes in income or expenses and make adjustments as may be needed. But make sure that whatever you do, you must always spend less than you receive. Your expenses should always be far below your income. If not, you are going to enter into debt and finally poverty will choke you. What's the benefit of budgeting? It helps you to avoid overspending. It helps you provide clarity on your financial situation. It helps you allow for better planning towards savings and investment. That's why you need to do budgeting. Because when you budget, it is where that you will understand that, oh, if I just spend like this, the whole money will get finished. We need to understand that we have an unlimited ones, says economics. We have an unlimited ones. So it's important that when we are making budget, we make budget to buy what we need, not what we want. Because if you want to buy a once, you want to buy the whole world, and you will not have money to buy the whole world. You want to buy everything you see, every luxury you see, but you will not have that money to afford that. You get into debt, you get into trouble, very soon you get into prison and so on. Because if you borrow somebody's money and you can't return it, the person will take you to court and you go to prison. If you borrow from the bank and you spend it all and you can't pay back, whatever collateral you use, the bank will collect it. If you have nothing, the bank will lock you up. So it's very important when we do budgeting. The next thing is saving. Savings involve setting aside a portion of your income for future use. Very important. You must set aside a portion of your income for future use. It's always advisable that you set aside at least 10% of your income for future use, for investment. Especially those who are Christian. If you can give God 10%, you too also give yourself 10%. That means you save 10%. That's your savings. And we are now in the business world, in the world of capitalism. It's advisable that if you give 10% to God, you save 10%, also invest 10%. And then whatever you do with the rest, it doesn't matter again. 10% to God, 10% savings, and 10% investment. You know that you will never be poor. If you are saving 10% of your income every month and investing 10% of your income every month, you will never be poor, because it's going to accumulate and build wealth for you. We are going to come into investment, how you should invest, because you could also get into kind of investment where the money will diminish. Instead of multiplying, the money will get finished. So it's not every investment that we get into. We have also already looked at some of the businesses you can invest in and the one you shouldn't invest in. So don't carry your money into a ping pong and then the money disappears. So savings, we must see how we set aside a particular amount of money regularly. That one is to keep it for future use. There's what we call emergency fund. This is to save 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in a separate and easily accessible account, so that in case of any trouble, you will have something to live on. There are people who have lost their home through fire. Now, if you didn't save, where will you go? Are you going to the street? From a compound owner to a street beggar. That's why financial literacy is very important. Having knowledge about managing finance is very important. So, for emergency fund, save 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. separate account. Imagine that you are spending $100 every month for your living expenses. Yes, make sure that you have a separate account that have at least $600 of your living expenses. That means that if you lost your job, you lost everything, you can survive for 6 months, and in that 6 months you can start over again. That's what it means. Then there's what we call automatic savings. You set automatic transfers from your checking account to your saving account. So once money enters into your account, it cut your savings and send into the saving account. You don't need to come there and give order for transfer. No, it is already set automatically. So it does that savings on its own. So you are not even going to have access to that money again until when that money is in need. Saving goals. Why are you saving? So you need to define specific goals, like saving for vacation, saving for a new structure, saving for a business. So that's going to motivate your saving efforts. But if you are just saving without any goal, you don't know why you are saving and what you are saving for, you will not be encouraged to save. But when you have a goal, what you want to do with the money at the end, you'll be encouraged to save. If you want to save, and start a business, and that business is maybe worth $500 or $1,000. You now have a duration you have to save, and so you'll be encouraged to save to see that you meet up with that amount of money so that you can start that business at once. What's the benefit of saving? It provides financial security during emergencies. It also helps to achieve short and long-term financial goals, because when you save, you have the money when you need it to use. It also reduces your over-reliance on credit. Always credit. So at the end of the day, you will not have any problem with anybody. You have no debt, and so you have no problem. You live a stress-free life because of good financial management. The next one is investing. Investing is the act of allocating resources, usually money, to generate income or profits. So you allocate your resources, money, and put it in something that will generate more money and more money and more money. We have different types of investment. We have stocks. That means ownership of shares in a company. So higher potential return, but also higher risks. Yes, you can buy shares in a company in the form of stocks. It has very higher potential of return and also have high risks, because if that company goes bankrupt, your money also goes. But what can we do? You must invest. If you don't invest, you have nothing. So that's why entrepreneurship is the ability to take calculated risks. Yes, to be an entrepreneur, you must be ready to take calculated risks. Some people say some risks are more riskier, but living is a risk on its own. Just living, being alive is a risk. That's why if you just joke, you die today. So it's a risk. So everything is a risk. So you must take the risks and invest. So the first one is stocks. The next is bonds. That means loans made on corporations or government, usually lower risks and steady returns. That means you loan a corporation or you loan a government. You could loan a government branch. You could give loan to a particular government corporation and so on, where you have monthly return. That one has lower risks and also have steady returns. So it is called bonds. Then we have mutual fund. Mutual fund pool investment in a diverse portfolio of stocks and bonds, and then is managed by professionals. you could also put your money there and you'll be having returns. Then we also have real estate. It's another type of investment. That means you're investing in properties for rental income or appreciation. You can rent land, you can buy land and you rent it out, or you buy land and it appreciate over time, 5 years, 10 years, you sell it times 3 or 4 times of the money you bought it for if the land is in a good location. And then now, if you also buy a house or you build a house and put it on rent, depending on the location, you could have good return from that. But those are long-term investment. For example, if you build a house with over 50 million, it will take about 20-30 years for you to be able to recover all that money. But there are other businesses that you can engage in, like open an industry and so on, that money can get into your pocket within 3 to 5 years. What are the strategies that we can use in investment? Diversification. So spread your investment across various assets, different classes of assets, to minimize risks. Don't gather all your money and go and put in a stock in one company. If that company go down, you too are going down. So you need to diversify, spread your investment across different asset classes of assets. Put your money in real estate, put in some in mutual fund, put some in stocks and so on, open industry and so on. So by the time you have diversification of your investment, if one go down, it makes no difference. If one goes down, it makes no difference. Then also another strategy is to look at long-term focus. Invest with a long-term perspective to ride over or to ride out market fluctuations. That's where real estate now comes in. It's a long-term investment, so it ride over market fluctuation. Whether market is going up, coming down, it doesn't change. Then regular contribution is another strategy for your investment. So consider investing a fixed amount of money regularly, regardless of market condition. One businessman says, if you invest every month, you will never be poor. If you invest every month. Investing means that you are setting aside money and putting it into something that will be multiplying money. So every month you are setting money for multiplication. And if that money is multiply every month, by the time you set aside money for 1 year to be multiplying, by the time you set it for 2, 3, 5 years, you'll be a rich man. You can never be poor. So we need to develop that habit of investing every month, saving every month and investing every month, no matter the market condition. What's the benefits? We have the potential for wealth accumulation over time. We are going to accumulate wealth over time. It's going to help combat inflation and also allow participation in economic growth. As you are doing your activities, employing people and doing this and that, and money is increasing, you are improving the economic growth of the society. Because you pay debt, you employ people and so on. So you participate in community development, societal development is very important. So don't just be a consumer. Be wealth and participate in economic development.